can play. Been through it all, but I just want to ball.
Sitting next to Chandler watching the Dennis Scott hype video.
I love it.
Makes me very, very happy. So now he's joining us, 10-year vet, NBA TV analyst. We appreciate the time, as always, Dennis. And look, you got all the Georgia Tech behind you, which is exactly where we're going to start. You're getting your jersey retired there tonight. A, how excited are you? B, who's going to be there? Who's going to be in the building cheering you on?
First of all, I'm super excited. For anyone that's listening, still has their mother or grandmother or important female in their life, my mom challenged me going on 3 years ago that, baby, you promised me you'd get your degree, and I'm tired of hearing people talk about your number not being retired. So that was the only thing I had left to do, was to go back to Georgia Tech, because it was a requirement to graduate. But you had to graduate from Georgia Tech. That was the difference. So I could have gone to other schools, I've done other things, but they would not have retired the number because I would have graduated from a different school. So I had to make that very clear for our viewers that that's a difference in just graduating. So I'm super happy to finish something that my mom asked me to finish. That checks a box. Kenny Anderson, Dwayne Farrell, Tom Hammonds, David Whitmore. I mean, it's just so many guys. Perry Clark, you know, one of the original coaches that recruited me back in the day. So I'm super excited to see, and you know, all the guys that's coming. And they have a few surprises for me. They told me, so I don't know what else is going on.
That's awesome.
Oh wait, do you like that? Because some people here, we have some surprises for you, and they're like, don't do anything. Are you one of those guys that loves that, or you're a little nervous?
I love it because I know where all my bodies are buried.
Okay. You know what? That's how you go in. That's how you win.
I do not.
By the way, let's say the top dude in the country wants to go to Georgia Tech, but the only way he'll go is if he can wear the number 4.
Oof.
What do you do?
If he's the #1 player in the country, like say a Cooper Flag or the AJ Sebastian, yes, they can wear number 4 because I need Georgia Tech back hot again. I need us back in the Final Four. So if it's a guy like that, it's a no-brainer.
It's a good attitude.
3D, I grew up in Orlando. I used to go to your restaurant in Orlando. I love those early 90s teams, you, Nick Anderson, Horace Grant. That's literally what got me into basketball. So I've never told you that, but I used to love you and look up to you and love watching you play. So it's awesome to actually have this interview with you. But what was it like on those teams, you know, playing with a 20-year-old Shaq? Like, did you know right then and there this dude was different and he was going to end up being one of the greats?
Yes, we called him the Shaq Piper because with all the nicknames that he has, I said, big fella, you don't realize that you're just stepping foot in the NBA, and everywhere we go, there's somebody following us. And one of the bright stories I remember, we're playing the Detroit Pistons in South Dakota for a preseason exhibition game. And we all know how exhibition games are in the NBA. You kind of going through the motion. Let's hurry up and get this over with because we want the season to start. But because of Shaq, we're playing full speed starters in the 4th quarter for the first exhibition game. You're like, what the hell are we doing? But it's all because of Shaq.
It's crazy. Awesome. And you basically watched him from a rookie become this superstar. How did he handle all the attention he was getting off the court, basically becoming a full-blown celebrity?
Great question, Chandler. So don't let the Shaq we know now fool you. Shaq was naive. He was humble. He was scared. He was sitting in the back of the bus, asked all these crazy questions. And I'll never forget this, another situation. We're in Anaheim playing the Clippers, exhibition game. He's sitting in the back of the bus. Leonard Armato calls him, his agent at the time, and says, man, they're about to offer me $100 million. I won't be able to go anywhere. I said, fool, you can't go nowhere now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he doesn't actually hide in any rooms that he goes into.
Exactly.
But you know what's crazy, though, is like we've all sort of just watched him grow up into this, you know, he built an empire, and he's hilarious, and he's a clown, and he loves life. And I'm wondering, did you get to see he's a prankster. Did you get to see any of that? Or like you said, was he just not that dude yet?
All the jokes, all the prankster stuff, and that's the part that I'm happy that we're best friends, because he realizes that I wanted him to be himself. So as a rookie, he was the only one that I would say that he took the rookie hazing as a young star the right way. He carried the bags, he hated it, but he realized that was a part of the culture of being a fraternity of an NBA player.
3D, there's an infamous story about how did he slap Kobe in a pickup game in like 1998 and you were there?
Well, I don't know if it was a slap or
It was more of a mush.
yeah, I really don't want to fight, but I got to show you I'm Shaq. I guess it's the best way to say it.
Wow, so it happened.
So
It was contact.
I know. God, wish we had videos of everything. All right, Bulls, 95 Eastern Conference semis. MJ had just come back from, the baseball chapter. Nick Anderson said that Jordan, quote, didn't look like the old Michael Jordan, and that number 45 doesn't explode like 23
Can't
used
poke
to.
the bear, 3D.
And then, of course, we all know what happens after that. What do you remember about how all of that played out?
You pretty much hit it on the head. He sitting at his locker. He made those comments, and we all like,
oh, why would you do that?
really? But you're in the moment. We're young. We're vibrant. We're confident. Nick just had probably arguably the biggest steal in NBA history. So you understood where it was coming from. But now it gave Mike more fuel to go back in the lab, retool his body, and he did what he did when he came back.
So now later in those playoffs,
Wow.
though, Nick Anderson then goes and misses 4 free throws in the game 1 of the NBA Finals. What is it like in the locker room after that? Do you kind of rally around him, just move on next game? Because that obviously was a devastating situation.
Chandler, Michelle, I know Lou, all of our viewers, we've all been around a teammate that's gone through something. And the best thing I can tell you that I remember vividly, Nick was the last one in the locker room, and I remember before I walked out, I gave him a hug. I said, the sun will come out tomorrow. But the biggest thing we know as athletes, it's here now. It's no longer physical. Because we know Nick was one of the most dynamic post-up 2 guards in NBA history. But mentally, he could never get that out of his head again, so he never went back to the aggressive guy we once knew and fell in love with. So that was the toughest part for Nick the rest of his career.
Fun fact, I chose number 25 because Nick Anderson. Right?
Did you really?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Chandler. Chandler Parsons trivia for everybody at home. Let's talk a little Victor Wembanyama. We all saw the 50-pointer the other day. He's 20 years old. We just talked about a young Shaq and sort of what you got to see at the early stages. Are you seeing anything that reminds you a little bit of that period of time in Wemby? Like, what do you see when you watch Wembanyama play?
The only thing that comes to mind, guys, and for people, he's must-see TV. So I'm a little bit older than you guys. He is as tall as Ralph Sampson was back in the day. And Ralph Sampson was the only guy we could see grab the ball off the rim, go coast to coast, make passes, but Ralph wasn't throwing the ball around his back. Ralph wasn't throwing the ball off the backboard, catching it and dunking it. Ralph wasn't doing the sham guy with fluidity and passing the ball and doing lookaways. So that's the difference for Wemby, that he's taking the game to another plateau. And if you're not working or if you're not spending time with your kids, you're watching Wembanyama and watching what he's doing and saying, wow, he's changing the game. Who do we compare him to? We've never seen a 7'3" alien before.
Legit alien.
It really is nuts. 3D, I stopped playing basketball at 31 years old. You also retired at 31 years old. So now when we're sitting back and we're watching LeBron James do what he's doing, almost 40, my question to you is how? Like, how is he doing this still at such an elite level at that age?
Well, I asked the basketball guys, why he give me raggedy knee? Why they give me raggedy hip? Well, we gave you a sweet jump shot, but that's not enough. I want a better body. I want to play long. That's the most significant thing, that LeBron has done a phenomenal job of taking care of his body. So that's why one of the best sayings we say on NBA TV and TNT is the best availability is availability. And LeBron has been available for 22 years for the most part. He's had a few injuries here or there, but we cannot find another person in any sport in 22 years. Like Tom Brady at 45, yes, but we would agree. That Tampa Bay defense was sick, right?
Yeah.
The weapons he had around him was sick. LeBron is still the best player on the Lakers. I love you, AD, but LeBron's still the best player.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, Tom Brady did the whole TB12, like marketed it, tried to get, us civilians to become superheroes. Like, why doesn't LeBron do all that? Or is it coming? Do we think it's coming? It's coming.
It's probably coming.
Well, no, LeBron's too, calculate on how he's doing things. LeBron's like, y'all still talking about me? You're still watching me? And when in doubt, you still have to talk about the Lakers as long as I'm still playing.
It's true. He's not wrong.
It's also a lot of people look like Tom Brady's body type and not LeBron. So, like, I'm saying it's genetic.
People can say, I can look like Tom, but I can't.
Great point.
Genetically, LeBron's got a little better situation going on.
That Tom Brady draft photo is the most relatable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The NBA Cup back tonight. You know what's funny, Dennis? I was thinking to a year ago when we were all sort of getting ready for this NBA Cup thing, and no one fully understood. We were like, how does this work? Okay, the format, we just wanted to see.
I thought I ate the wrong brownies.
Yeah, I legit tried to explain it. Was like, I don't think I have it right. And here we are, a year later. We've already had some great moments from night one. We're getting night two to go again. What have you thought about it? Have you liked the way it's panning out so far?
I love it. You know, and Chandler, you know, as his ex-player is giving more significance to this part of the season, where guys may be sore or he may be, you know, taking a rest or the load management BS. I just think now the guys are exciting. The floor, the jersey, the fans are into it. And Chandler, check this out. The basketball BRI, there's different jerseys being sold. There's more money being circulated for even us retired players.
Yeah, it's great.
So I love everything about it.
When I first heard it, though, I'm like, are we really incentivizing players for more money? And then, but then I watched it last year, and I'm like, oh my God, these games are like playoff games. The atmosphere is
Vegas for a few days.
The courts are even fun, which they're a little trippy at first.
Well, hold on. We don't like all.
Trippy,
Can we be real honest for 1 second, though? I feel like we're all truth tellers, right? We don't like all the courts.
No,
we can't say that.
We don't like most of the courts, but it's still fun. It's still fun to see them. It's different.
And you have to put on a different pair of shades to watch basketball. EMBIID Cup.
Yeah, it's like 100%. Migraines. Some of them are rough.
Yeah, Dennis, you mentioned load management back-to-backs. Joel Embiid, he looked a little rusty in his first game back the other day. Some analysts are comparing him to an aging Shaq. I heard someone say this is the Phoenix Sun Shaq, which he's not to that level, right?
Shaq had 3 rings going into that.
Come on now.
You can't do that.
And that's an interesting fact.
Right. So, like, what do you take of where he is currently right now? What's your take on him? I think prematurely saying he's not playing in the back-to-backs. I think that's what kind of ruffled a lot of feathers early on. But, like, what do you think of the whole Joel Embiid drama right now?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. By coming out and making those early comments at the beginning of the season kind of, you know, really shook the real basketball world the wrong way. We're old school. Old school guys, if you got injured, you went and did whatever you had to do to get back. And once you were healthy, we went right back in the fire. So that minutes restriction, load management, it's taken a lot of us older guys to adjust to. So to answer your question, what we're telling Embiid is, listen to the doctors, listen to the trainers, do whatever you need to do to make sure your knees feel enough where you can go out there and play at a high level. Once the season starts, everybody's sore, everybody's dinged up a little bit. How do you do what you need to do to be in the training room to navigate through that so you can be on the court? Because when healthy, there's no argument. You're one of the best in our game. Right. But when you're not fun to be around because you make excuses on why you're not playing. So I'd rather say be quiet, stick with the trainers, get healthy, and play when you're ready, and don't say anything, let your play do all the talking.
Yeah, there's certain things you just kind of keep in-house.
That was the quiet part, and he accidentally said it out loud, I think. But also, I think people are, you know, fans, rightfully so, because they've been told to trust the process, and the process doesn't seem to be working. And if it turns out he needs surgery after all these months that have gone by that will be wasted time, it's just ugly, and it's a bummer. Because I'm with you. I love watching Joel Embiid play, and this is a bummer.
It's a bummer. So stay with me on this one. We had to wait for the process. Now he's given us a new program, which is, when do my body feel right? I'm not sure if I'm going to play back-to-backs. So now we as the media, we have to sit back and be patient. And most people say, we've been patient long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, fans they're like, we're done. Plus, patience is not easy for most of us.
This team is just built right now with that big three to win. So when you don't see them on the floor, it's like, we're not
what is this? Yeah. So then you have the Sixers and you have the Bucks. Both had enormous expectations, and both have been very disappointing to start this season off. If one of them makes the playoffs, let's just say, which one's got the better shot early on here?
Oh, Philly, hands down. Milwaukee's done. Milwaukee's done.
Okay.
And I love Dr. Death. I've been my Georgia Tech days, Doc would come over and play with us with Dominique and Spud and play pickup games.
Wow.
That's kind of how I knew I was ready for the NBA when I had to guard Dominique and he dunked on my head. I said, I think I'm ready for the NBA.
That's
but
awesome.
Milwaukee, they're done. And we all love Dame. We love Giannis. But this is not the same team that Bud coached a few years ago when they won the championship. We love Chris Middleton. But Chris Middleton's receipts say, I'm not coming back until I'm 100%. I'm not coming back and playing 20 minutes rest. I'm not coming back and playing 25 minutes rest. I'm coming back and being Chris Middleton, playing my normal allotment of minutes. Because every time he's been hurt, that's the way it's always been. As you know, Chandler, what the kids say, that's the receipts on him.
Yeah.
Now look at their bench. That's not the same bench with P.J. Tucker and Drew Holiday and all those guys. I just think they're done. I'm sorry. And if Philly don't get healthy, their hole may be too deep to climb out of because the East is better.
Right. So here's my question about the Giannis thing, because there's so many levels to sort of his universe, right? Like if he gets angry, or if this is like you just said, it's done, and he wants a trade, there'll be some backlash, but I think a lot of people would understand. But then you got to remember Dame's there, and Dame wanted to go to Miami, and that they've got their own set of issues down there, so everyone's going to be pissed off. So I'm wondering, how do you, like, if you could kind of look into the future, do you think Giannis is going to ask for a trade, or is he going to be a little more diplomatic about it?
He's definitely going to be diplomatic about it. But the difference is he's in the same situation KG was in, but at least he won a championship first.
Yeah.
That's the difference. KG didn't get his ring until he got to Boston. Small market. So now Giannis has to have an honest conversation with his wife and family, and then with the GM and say, hey, guys, I don't like the way this is going. Or he says, you know what? I'm going to do the Tim Duncan. I looked around a little bit. I don't like it. Let's come back, retool us, put some pieces around me. Let's go win another championship.
Dennis, we don't like to refer to that Tim Duncan era. That never happened. He never looked anywhere else.
We almost had him in Orlando.
Shut up.
Dennis, so stick with the Eastern Conference. Obviously, it's wide open. There's 3 teams that have a record above 500, which is crazy. So outside the Celtics, there's this team in Cleveland that has a chance to go 14-0 tonight against the Bulls. Are you looking at this team like a real contender this year, or is this just the hot start schedule-wise, or what's your take on the Cavs?
I think it's real because they've gotten better each year, bringing all this new talent together. So we expect, and you guys know this, we expect, oh, you make one move, you're going to win right away. No, it doesn't happen that way. So the Cavs have done a good job with 2 or 3 guys they've drafted, and they brought in 2 or 3 guys through free agency like Donovan Mitchell. Now they're starting to mesh. They brought in a new coach in Kenny Atkinson, who's about accountability. Mobley, we all said throughout the playoffs last year, he has to be more aggressive offensively. Defensively, he's fine. So all those boxes that we so-called criticized over the summer, I think they've checked those boxes. The last box to check is second round of the playoffs when it gets here, are you going to mature and grow up and get out of the second round?
Right.
They got the scrappy Bulls tonight. Dun, dun, dun. Dennis, this has been...
I like the new Bulls, too.
They're fun. I'm not counting them out of anything.
Yes.
Love this. Have the most fun
Congrats tonight, man.
Congrats.
It's awesome.
Love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep. We'll be back.
Running back.